something truly magical has happened on Rathlin Island. A sound that has been missing for many, many years has returned. It is the strange, ghostly call of the Manx Shearwater, a remarkable seabird that has finally come home. After decades of absence, conservationists have confirmed the wonderful news. In the late summer of 2025, these birds successfully bred on the island once again. This is a huge moment for wildlife conservation in Northern Ireland. It shows us that with hard work and dedication, we can help nature to heal. It is a story of hope, a story of return, and a story of a bird that refused to be forgotten. The Manx Shearwater is an incredible creature. It spends most of its life out on the open ocean, gliding effortlessly over the waves. It is a master of the sea and the sky. These birds only come to land under the cover of darkness to nest in underground burrows, safe from predators. Their calls, which they make at night, are eerie and unforgettable, a mix of cackles and croons. The birds are amber-listed in the UK and Ireland, which means they are at risk. Their populations need our help to stay healthy. Seeing them return to Rathlin Island is not just exciting, it is a vital step in securing their future. For so long, the cliffs and soils of Rathlin were silent. The Manx shearwaters that once nested there in large numbers were gone. We knew they were out there, flying past the island on their long journeys, but they would not land to breed. The island was no longer a safe place for them to raise their young. But nature is resilient. It holds on to memory. And in September 2025, the proof we were all waiting for arrived. The first Manx Shearwater chicks in a generation were found, hidden away in their burrows, almost ready to make their first flight out to sea. It was a moment of pure joy for everyone involved. The discovery was a testament to patience and careful observation. For years, the team on Rathlin had been listening and watching, hoping for a sign. Using special cameras that can see in the dark and detect heat, they scanned the ground night after night. And then, they saw it. The fuzzy outline of a young chick, a tiny ball of life waiting in its earthy nest. This was not just one chick, but several, confirming that multiple pairs of birds had decided Rathlin was a safe home once more. This evidence was the reward for years of tireless effort, and a clear signal that the island's fortunes were finally changing for the better. To understand why this return is so special, we must first look at why the Manx Shearwaters disappeared. Rathlin Island was once a paradise for seabirds. Its cliffs and grassy slopes provided perfect nesting sites for thousands of birds, including puffins, guillemots, and, of course, Manx Shearwaters. These birds lay their eggs on the ground or in burrows. For countless years, this was a safe strategy. There were no land predators to worry about. The birds could raise their families in peace, creating a bustling, noisy, and wonderfully vibrant seabird city. It was a natural balance that worked beautifully. But this balance was shattered by the arrival of new, non-native animals. Rats, likely arriving on ships over the years, began to spread across the island. Later, ferrets, which are also not native to Rathlin, established a population. These animals are skilled and ruthless hunters. For ground-nesting birds, they were a disaster. The birds had no natural defense against them. A rat or a ferret could easily sneak into a burrow at night and prey on the eggs or the helpless chicks. They could even kill the adult birds as they sat on their nests. The seabird city was under siege. The impact was devastating and swift. The Manx Shearwaters were particularly vulnerable. Because they nest in burrows and are only active on land at night, they were easy targets for these new predators. Year after year, their breeding attempts would have failed. Adults would have been killed, and chicks would never have had the chance to fledge. Slowly but surely, the population dwindled. The ghostly calls that once filled the night air faded into silence. By the late 20th century, the Manx Shearwater was no longer a breeding bird on Rathlin Island. A vital part of the island's ecosystem had been lost. This sad story was not unique to the Manx Shearwater. Other ground nesting species on Rathlin were also suffering badly. The iconic puffin population was in decline. Black guillemots and other seabirds faced the same constant threat from the invasive predators. The entire seabird colony, which is of international importance, was at risk. The island was becoming a dangerous place for the very wildlife that made it so special. It was clear that without a major intervention, Rathlin's status as a seabird sanctuary would be lost forever. Something had to be done to turn back the tide. Faced with this ecological crisis, a bold and ambitious plan was formed. This plan was called the Life Raft Project, which stands for Rathlin Acting for Tomorrow. Launched in 2021, it was a world-first initiative with a simple, clear goal to make Rathlin Island safe for its seabirds once again. The only way to do this was to completely remove the invasive non-native predators that were causing so much damage. The project, a partnership led by RSPB Northern Ireland, set out to eradicate every single rat and ferret from the island. It was a monumental task, requiring careful planning, expertise, and the support of the entire Rathlin community. The project was a huge undertaking, costing £4.5 million and backed by multiple organisations, including the EU Life Programme and the National Lottery Heritage Fund. This was not just about setting a few traps. It was a highly scientific operation. The team had to map the entire island, understanding where the predators live and how they behave. They needed to ensure that their methods were effective and did not harm any of Rathlin's other precious wildlife. It was a long and difficult process carried out over several years. The future of the island's seabirds depended entirely on the success of this project. One of the most important parts of the Life Raft project was monitoring. How would the team know if their work was succeeding? They needed to watch for the return of the birds. For the Manx Shearwaters, this meant searching in the dark. The team used incredible technology to help them. They deployed night vision cameras to see what was happening after sunset. They also used thermal imaging cameras, which detect body heat, to find warm-bodied birds and chicks hidden deep within their cold, dark burrows. This technology allowed them to search for the shearwaters without disturbing them, giving them a secret window into their world. The hard work and advanced technology paid off spectacularly. After making the island safe, the team began to see signs of hope. Adult Manx shearwaters were heard calling over the island again, a sign they were investigating the new safe nesting grounds. And then came the incredible confirmation in 2025. The thermal cameras detected the heat of chicks in the burrows. This was the moment everyone had been working towards. It was definitive proof that the removal of the predators had worked. The island was once again a sanctuary, and the Manx Shearwaters had responded, returning to raise their young in safety. The return of the Manx Shearwater is more than just a single good news story. It is a powerful symbol of what is possible in conservation. It proves that even when a species has been lost from a place for decades, it is not always gone forever. By actively restoring the environment and removing the threats that humans introduced, we can give nature a chance to bounce back. The success on Rathlin Island sends a message of hope to other conservation projects around the world. It shows that with determination and science, we can reverse the damage we have done and restore lost biodiversity. The future for the Manx Shearwaters on Rathlin now looks incredibly bright. The small number of pairs that have bred this year are just the beginning. They are the pioneers of a new generation. Now that the island is free from ferrets and rats, the prospects for the population to grow are excellent. In the coming years, we can expect more and more birds to be attracted to the safe breeding grounds. The silent nights on Rathlin will once again be filled with their strange and wonderful calls. The seabird city will be rebuilt, burrow by burrow, chick by chick. Of course, the work is not over. A key part of the project is biosecurity. This means putting measures in place to ensure that rats can never get back onto the island. Every boat that arrives at Rathlin will need to be checked, and constant monitoring will be in place. It is a shared responsibility, involving the project team, residents and visitors, all working together to protect the island's fragile recovery. This vigilance is the price of success, and it is a price everyone is willing to pay to keep the island a safe haven for its incredible wildlife. This long-term commitment is essential for the future. Looking out at Rathlin Island today, on October 7th, 2025, it feels like a place reborn. The return of the Manx Shearwater is a victory for the birds, for the island, and for all of us who care about the natural world. It reminds us that we are all custodians of this planet, and that we have the power to make a positive difference. The story of Rathlin is a story of resilience, community, and the enduring power of nature. The ghostly calls of the shearwaters are no longer a memory. They are a promise of a wilder, healthier, and more hopeful future.